Hello, everyone. Welcome back to week 7 of the GenesisChain webinar series. So, just before we get into today's session, let's just have a quick recap on what happened last time. So, last time, RD walked us through how PAL Digital is literally tokenizing farmland, creating 40 NFTs per hectare. But this isn't just about digital collectibles. These tokens are redeemable for actual food crops, which help farmers bypass middlemen and reduce retail prices by up to 30%. We took away three major lessons from RD. Real world impact. Blockchain isn't just for finance, it's solving supply chain inefficiencies, allowing farmers to access retail markets directly. Careers beyond code. One of the biggest questions we get is, do I need to be a developer? RD's answer was a clear no. He highlighted massive demand for roles in design, operations, underwriting, and finance within the blockchain space. And number three, the 2030 vision. RD predicts the world will be blockchain dominant by 2030. His advice to all of us, don't just chase profits, build prototypes that solve real problems. It was an eye opening look at a huge at where the industry is heading. A huge thank you to RD and also our sponsor MTutor for making these sessions possible. I highly recommend you check their platform out. Today, we'll be looking into securing your digital assets, wallets, and keys. And I'm excited for you to meet Pekka Kelka. Pekka Kelka is a Web3 advisor and educator known for his YouTube channel, Papa Blockchain, which, by the way, you can go check out to see some amazing content. With, with experience as CEO of GenesisChain MENA and advising global projects on strategy and security, he pioneers in business development, strategy, and ecosystem security. Thank you for making today's session possible. So, over to you, Pekka. Thank you. Sir, I think you're muted and your video is turned off. Hello, sir. I'm audible. Yeah, I think you can unmute yourself right now. I think you'll be able to now.
Yes, mic is working, but the video is not working yet. If you want me to.
Are you able to?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shawat. Thank you, Ashwat.
No issues. Well, the stage is yours, sir.
Yeah, well, yeah, you were guiding your own voice, not allowing anybody else to join yet, but now I'm here. Thank you for the kind introduction first, Ashwat, and thanks for everybody joining us here today and tonight, wherever you are. Actually, I'm now in Finland, which is almost 4 p.m. here, Saturday afternoon. I'm originally from Finland, but I have lived in Dubai 20 years. A little bit of my background in the industry. I joined blockchain cryptos some 9 years ago, practically full-time immediately, because I'm a big supporter of decentralization. Came across with the Ethereum white paper and smart contracts and so forth. But if we're not to take it too long time of your lovely audience, let's go a little bit like a CV type of approach, like my latest things what I've been part of, and the most important things that I'm part of now. I'm very happy to announce that quite recently I joined L Bank, which is I'd say the leading finance ecosystem in the industry. Of course, they are most well known of its centralized exchange, but they are doing many other things. And I joined them as chief academic advisor. They created this nice title for me, and I'm advising internally and also the whole ecosystem about these opportunities, what this great technology can provide. And if I may point out another important project that I'm part of, I'm president of Compute, but mainly advising the DeepIn ecosystem. DeepIn is the decentralized physical infrastructure network, and the project is called TPIN without little e in between. So DeepIn is building amazing distributed and decentralized, and later on decentralized GPU networks. And that's as we know how big AI is, and we also know that AI is not functioning without GPUs. So if I may introduce those two projects to you, to your lovely audience that I'm now part of, but I'm also speaker and advising many other projects like part-time. Also I'm part-time on this particular project because I don't want to, how to say, focus too a narrow way, because this industry is so many things, and I want to introduce this industry to as many people as possible. And thanks again, Ashwath, about this invitation. And the topic today is to how should people manage their digital asset, virtual assets, known as cryptos. They can be, of course, securities, but now we're focusing on cryptos. But let me take a little bit different approach to start with, because first of all, if you are a newcomer to this industry, I don't recommend you to jump into the deep end of the pool immediately. So make sure that if you're jumping the pool, your feet will meet the ground, so you're not drowning. What I mean by this is that decentralization is not so simple thing to understand, and the mechanisms are still a little bit different of how we're using internet today. That's why I recommend you to simultaneously researching as much as you can and have time to do that, what decentralization is. But I recommend you to join this industry, this blockchain, crypto, Web3 industry, by checking first the most trusted centralized platforms. This is a little bit interesting view, if I may say, because of I'm a big support of decentralization. Why I'm saying this? Because I believe that that's the easiest, fastest way for you to join the party, because this most advanced, trusted, secure, centralized exchanges, they function pretty much the same way than banks. And you are using your finance systems on Web 2, banking applications, all kinds of payment applications. You buy tickets, you do this and that on Web 2. And these centralized exchanges function the same way, practically the same way. But the asset class is different. Asset class is this virtual asset, digital asset. And they are quite easy to understand, quite easy to use. But before you do that, before you decide to join these centralized exchanges to start this of your journey in this industry, make sure that you start to use or access or research those ones that are most secure. They are licensed, they are regulated, and they have certain technologies in place. And you find so much important information about these exchanges, about how they are securing and their technology, that there's no single point of failure. They have all kinds of mechanisms that, for example, secure the transactions. They have mechanisms there that are required by regulators and lawmakers. And this information you need to have before you joining these platforms. That is the kind of a zero layer of accessing this industry. As I said already, maybe I will repeat the same thing many times during this podcast, that I'm a big supporter of decentralization. But decentralization is a process, and it's like every project. It's not just going one way to right and up. It goes a little bit like a roller coaster, or sometimes two step forward and one step back, and so forth. But what I'm saying this is what I mean by this is that simultaneously, if you are researching this asset class as cryptos first, and start to understand how these wallets work. There's wallets that you have on the centralized exchanges. The wallet is the software that hosts your assets on the centralized exchanges, like your bank account. And the same way that bank is fully in control of your assets, your money, same way the centralized exchange is controlling your cryptos, your virtual assets, your digital assets, same way. So they are fully controlling your assets, which is fully centralized, like banks. But if you choose the right platform, you are, as I'd say, the pretty much the same way secured as the banks today. But simultaneously, it's good to understand what happens if you are transacting outside this centralized exchange. When you are transacting your virtual digital assets from these centralized platforms to another centralized platform, or I mentioned, I will talk more about later on this self-custody wallets. If you transact from the centralized exchange to somewhere else, then your transaction goes to blockchain, which is decentralized platform. And how this will be different from internet transactions, because blockchain functions without any central entity. And you may ask, rightfully, that how does this even function? Because if you are transacting on Web 2, like on banks or whatever ticket purchase or whatever systems you have on Web 2, there are always middlemen. There are always middlemen in the transactions. They can be centralized storages, data centers, or other market makers like in TradFi world and so forth. But in blockchain, transacting from centralized exchange or wallet to wallet, when the transaction goes to blockchain, there is most advanced and most tested computer code giving you opportunity to transact totally on decentralized manner. That software is called smart contract. And smart contract transaction, when it's securing your transaction, this blockchain environment, they need to have a lot of data to make sure that the blockchain environment is secure, and it functions the way that whatever you're transacting with your asset, whatever asset it is, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, ADA, or whatever virtual asset it is, it functions exactly the way that is written. Listen carefully. All the details related to this transaction, how many of the units of this coin, and all kinds of things that's related to this transaction, they will be coded on the smart contract software. And when everything is by the book, then the transaction will be completed. And again, in TradFi world, Web 2 world, there are middlemen doing the same thing. That's why there can be many, many middlemen in between the transactions. For example, if you're doing the cross-border transactions on Web 2, it can take, I don't know, still days or even weeks, depending on from what country to what country you are doing these transactions. But on blockchain, because everything is automated and everything is secured by the most advanced computer code with the mechanisms of decentralized manner of validating the transactions, it goes smoothly through end to end. And what kind of role crypto asset, virtual asset, digital has on blockchain? It is fundamental because these decentralized platforms, blockchains, they don't work without data. And the data on decentralized platforms, i.e. blockchains, the data is your digital asset, your crypto. And more data there is on the platform, the more secure it is. Of course, there are other elements on the decentralized blockchain that also are related to the security, like how many nodes there are and so forth. Those are the servers on the network. So these blockchains, smart contract blockchains, they don't work without cryptocurrencies, virtual asset, digital assets, because they are validating transactions and they are data on the network. Now, if you think this, what I've been explaining to you, we started from centralized exchange, then you can, of course, trade and do all kind of swapping and different mechanisms on what your centralized exchange provides to you, different services, same way like bank is providing to you, or exchanges, stock exchanges, for example. You can do futures, derivatives, whatever. Those are the same things that are centralized, provided by centralized exchanges. But that's a starting point. And then you do the blockchain transaction. And now let's go to where we are actually focusing more and more on this podcast. I was instructed to explain the different kind of custody things. And I mentioned already, we started from centralized exchanges, where you give full ownership and full control of your assets to central entity, company or organization who's owning this centralized exchange, CEX, centralized exchange. But there's another mechanism that is called self-custody wallet. And there are actually two possible ways of doing it. It can be cold wallet, which means that there's an application that can either be extension of your browser, or it can be application that you download to your device, which can be mobile phone, pad, or PC. And you have full custody of, first of all, this software, this application, but everything that there is. And when you have these mechanisms with you, you need to understand the risks and opportunities. First of all, you are fully in control of the assets, which is definitely the big plus compared to the centralized exchange. But simultaneously, when you are fully in control, you have, again, I hope you listen carefully, you have full responsibility of these assets. And how this, when this, we are talking now very important system on blockchain environment, which is called decentralized finance. Centralized finance, centralized exchanges, pretty close to traditional finance, banking systems, all kinds of trading platforms and so forth on Web 2, pretty much the same way, centralized exchange. But now we talking about decentralized finance platforms and applications. Decentralized means that everything practically runs on blockchain. So no central entity controlling anything. the most advanced computer code. But how this is related to you as a user of these decentralized finance application softwares running on blockchain. To me, the first big decentralized finance platform actually was Uniswap, which first started to run on Ethereum. And even before that, by the way, there's 2016, the same year that I joined the this industry, MetaMask, first version of MetaMask, which is the self-custody wallet, or actually browser extension, or also you can have it on your mobile phone as an application. That came already 2016. But 2018 came the first DEX, decentralized exchange, the big first one came 2018, Uniswap. And Uniswap offers you the pretty much, especially today, it offers you pretty much the same services than your centralized exchange, but on decentralized ecosystem, which means that there needs to be some mechanisms to provide the same services than, for example, market makers on centralized environments. And that's a little bit technical thing that I don't want to go any deeper. Maybe we have another podcast related to this. But this, how do you secure and validate that everything is by the book? When you do some decentralized finance services, you are lender or borrower on the platform, and there are this service or mechanism is called automated market maker, which is replacing the market makers on the centralized market makers on the Web 2 and centralized exchanges. Now, if you are on decentralized finance, you are on decentralized exchange, DEX, or you are using some other decentralized finance mechanisms, you are fully, also your wallet that is hosting your virtual assets, you are fully in charge of that. But what happens if somehow you lose access to this wallet of yours with the cryptocurrencies that are inside this wallet? There's a mechanism which is called secret phrase or secret words. And this is the tricky one now. In a little while, I will explain you that there are also other options for that nowadays. But when decentralized finance came on board, when the first ones were launched, they provide you a secret phrase, 12 words or 24 words that you need to store somewhere securely. You need to store them somewhere securely. And you are fully in charge that at all times, anytime you need to access to this wallet of yours, you have it with you, or not like every time you're accessing, but in case of you lose your wallet, you lose your device, or something crazy happens that somehow you delete by accident, for example, your blockchain wallet application on your device, the only way to access your assets on self-custody wallet is to have access to your secret phrase, 12 words or 24 words, depending on the wallet. So that has been the kind of standard quite many years. And that's also the, I would say, people who are really committed to this industry, really committed to become or be their own banks, that they want to have full control of their digital asset, virtual assets. And they are hopefully also taking very good care of their secret phrases. And that's the mechanism they have. And now of course, we have some sad stories that people have lost their secret phrases, and some of those, sometimes they do some mistakes on the transactions, and they reveal their secret phrases, because that's also possible. So you need to be very careful on when you are transacting with these self-custody wallets. But everything changes, and this is developing so fast. Also, this, because I'm happy to say that the best engineers in the world are in this industry. Of course, partially AI and partially with us, because AI and blockchain is they're working hand in hand now. Again, another topic if we want to talk later, not in this podcast, but later podcasts. So the best engineers are continuously developing mechanisms to have easier ways to secure your wallet if you lose the access, if you lose your wallet. And there are some, quite a while ago, on Ethereum, which is the second biggest ecosystem in the industry, they implemented, they created a system which gives you opportunity to use this secure your wallets in different ways. The way that you are providing the access to your wallet, so different parties, and when they don't know each other too much, and then you're not in charge fully on this access to your secret phrase itself. You're spreading this kind of information, but still there are kind of third parties involved. You decide how many there are, but that's one thing. One thing that it has been created a while ago already. And then the latest development, actually, I believe the first version of this hardware wallet, which is the hardware wallet. I forgot almost to say that, because I mentioned already the application, but we have also hardware wallet opportunity to have self-custody. And hardware wallet is the most secure one, because it is a device. It's not an application on your mobile phone or your laptop or your pad. But hardware wallet is an application, it is a device that hosts your virtual assets, digital assets. And just quite recently, I'm not advertising anything, but one very interesting hardware wallet was launched maybe 1.5 years ago, the first version, Tangem, and they in the first phase they provided a credit card size of card, and then when you have one card that has your assets in there, then you can have second or even third card. And how it functions is that when you activate that, when you are transferring or start to use your assets on this Tangem wallet, the second and third card functions as backup system for your assets. So you don't need to care about at all the secret phrase, because they are coded the most secure way on this second and third card. And that is it's growing very fast, this system, because it helps you to kind of kills your challenge of storing your secret phrase. But again, of course, when you have this system, there are central entity, Tangem organization, that you need to trust at some level, at least. Of course, there are very, very secure mechanisms that they code your the access to your assets. This very secret way of programmed these mechanisms to replace your secret phrase. And the latest from the same company is very interesting piece of hardware. It's a ring. It is a ring that you put on your finger. And the same thing, You have your assets on there, but you communicate with with your credit card type of a size of wallets. So you have everything on your ring that you have on your wallet. So this is developing so very, very fast. But as you are hearing now what I'm saying, that this can be still quite complicated, or you have trade-offs. If you want to choose the mechanisms that you don't need to use your secret phrase, you are not in charge of your services, you're not in charge of your assets, then you can use centralized exchanges or this tangent type of mechanisms that there's still third party that is securing your assets on your hard wallet. But how I believe this is developing and towards what this is developing, there's very important service that's related to everything what we have on Web3, blockchain, cryptos, and Web3. And if this will not succeed, I believe we lose the opportunity to replace the internet. I believe personally that this blockchain, cryptos, Web3 will replace the current internet because it makes sense. Let's focus on the financial side of this business. This service or software application or platform that is developing fast now is called decentralized ID, decentralized identification, which comes to you, which is with you or with the company or anybody else who needs to have an ID. And how this will affect everything we understand and know about internet, or we know about the value transactions like crypto transactions, money transactions, because there are mechanisms that you are first of all fully in charge, fully in control of this software. The first decentralized ID application was launched a couple of years back by Ethereum ecosystem, which is called self-bound token and self-bound wallet, which means that you have this self-bound wallet and token with you, and it's not transferable at all. There, it consists a data that is fully in your control, and you can give access to third parties to certain type of data that requires for this transaction. If the transaction is information about you, like your age or something else, your whatever certificate it is, you give permission to third party to access this information on this soul-bound token, soul-bound wallet. And it's non-transferable, as it says. You control it fully. That's one way of doing it. There are so many things happening now on this decentralized ID world that what we have today, there are many other mechanisms that just this soul-bound token, but as I said, when we can pull this through, that there are easier ways to secure whatever you have, whatever you own, just for yourself, combining the off-chain data to on-chain data, secure way, which is, again, there are different mechanisms to do that, like Oracle technologies and so forth. And then you have full control, everything related to you, also the financial transactions. And if this will be completed the way that it's easy to use, secure to use, and also it must be regulated. We cannot live without regulations. Then I believe that we are quite close to quite close to replace the current Web 2 internet with Web 3 internet. I hope that this will come soon. So there are other technologies that are really important to make this happen. For example, zero knowledge proof, which means that the transactions will be generated the way that it can be pulled through without knowing actually who's behind the transactions, but there's enough information. Zero knowledge technology provides you the opportunity to make sure that these transacting parties are exactly the right parties to pull through this transaction and so forth. This is the way I see it. And this, I believe that this will be also mechanisms to secure quite soon, hopefully quite soon, the value transactions on internet, replacing Web 2 with Web 3. But little warning now. Let this be the last thing I explain on this long monologue. You may have heard the term digital ID. And digital ID has nothing to do with decentralized ID. Digital ID is the application that is fully controlled by central entity. In most of the cases, central bank, government, or central entity like bank. And if we go to government level, it means that if government will launch a digital ID, it means that they can embed anything and everything related to you, everything that is related to you on the same application. And they control everything that is related to you on the application because it's centrally controlled. So that's another topic that we can discuss maybe later sometimes. But please pay attention when you hear this term digital ID, because some people, even very knowledgeable people in our industry, they are talking about digital ID when they should talk and explain decentralized ID. They are opposite to each other. So let me summarize. Start, if you are newbie to this, if you just are joining this industry, make sure that you are safe with your transactions. Maybe you should start with the most secure, regulated, licensed, centralized exchanges, just to get the feel of this asset class, and maybe transact a little bit later on from this one centralized exchange to another wallet, which can be blockchain wallet, self-custody wallet, or the other exchange. Transaction happens on blockchain. And then maybe you also want to test the self-custody wallets that are existing there. And also, I believe that they will be more secure, easier to use, and easier to secure for yourself. Let's hope that this will be with us soon enough that my last words are, I'm positive that Web3 will replace Web2, and hopefully soon.
Well, that was pretty clear. So that's amazing. Um, so I just have one question
Mhm.
regarding blockchain. So blockchain, it's normally its foundation is based on cryptography, correct?
Yes, sir.
And with the rise of AI, and again, parallelly to it, there's also a rise in quantum computing, which they're saying that
Mm.
we'll be able to break these cryptographic hashes and we'll be able to decrypt the public and private keys. So, with the rising threat of quantum computing, how do you think blockchain would be able to defend itself against these threats?
Uh, First of all, I have researched a lot and about AI and how AI is developing and relationship between decentralized transactions, decentralized ecosystems, and AI. Uh, and I'm evangelist on this one particular thing. blockchain will save AI for humanity. Why I'm saying this? Because if blockchain is not managing to do that, there is no other technology to do that. Because if there is no technology to save the AI for humanity, then AI will control humanity, because people cannot do that, because they are getting more and more autonomous every day. And that's why this system that is controlled and managed by the most advanced secure computer code, securing that AI is doing proper job, and validators and validations take care of that these fraudable hurt the transactions that will hurt people and they are not correct and all kind of other problems, they will not go through when there's decentralized mechanisms. We are not there yet. We don't need it yet. But I happen to know that there are many companies are developing the mechanisms now that blockchain will be fundamental layer on AI ecosystems. And of course, there are many problems, because we know how much how many transactions per second AI requires and so forth, and the capacity of blockchain is not there yet, but that's also, they will be very fast. And there are some mechanisms that are even maybe some little trade-offs of the decentralization. But anyways, that's how I believe it's the only way for us people, humans, to control AI. And when it comes to other problems in the future, I first of all, I fully admit that I'm not so, I haven't had too much time of doing that, but because also the way I see it is that that there are not so much clarity of the development of any other threats that there are for the internet for us now. Of course, everything develops so fast that technologies, the data crunching is so much faster, and we already know today that quantum computing and so forth related to AI, or this how much is crunching the data, and again, as AI agents and AI become more autonomous all the time, they are not even dealing anymore with the existing data on the internet as they do today. So that's why we know that how get good or bad results, but fast results we get when we are prompting and asking about AI. And quantum computing is definitely there in the picture. But then again, I believe that whatever happens in the future, the blockchain is the solution. And if not blockchain is the solution, then we are in big problems. But I don't know, Ashwin, you are guru in this technology. You understand a lot about it. What are your thoughts? Is there any other opportunity for us to save whatever happens on the internet, for us to control who we are, what we do, what we own on internet? Is there any other technology than blockchain that is the solution?
No, I cannot think of anything right now. No.
I fully agree.
Yeah, I understood. So yeah, that was pretty clear. Yeah, thank you. Well, so with that, I think that will be the end of today's session. Again, thank you so much, sir, for today's session. It was very informative, and thank you for demystifying wallets, keys, and the security trade-offs that are there for them. That was super valuable. Um,
Thank you.
Thank you for the audience for attending today's session. Next Saturday will be our finale, week 8, which will be on protecting those blockchain assets, and will be further diving deep into the digital identity that Pekka was talking about today. So thank you for everybody joining for today. And thank you, sir. for this valuable information. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you. Bye bye.